I lit the last candle on the cake and smiled at the soft glow. Perfect, I whispered to myself. The clock on the wall read 8:12 p.m. Ethan was late. Again, I checked my phone. No new messages. The dinner was still warm, the table set, the wine breathing just like he liked. I told myself he'd walk in any minute, maybe with flowers, maybe with a smile. At 8:37, the key finally turned in the door. I straightened up, trying to act casual. Hey, I said softly. He didn't look at me. He didn't even glance at the cake. He dropped his jacket on the chair and said, "We need to talk." My heart dropped. Okay, I said, forcing a smile. But maybe after dinner? I'm not staying for dinner. His voice was flat. It's not appropriate, I repeated. Ethan, what are you talking about? He rubbed the back of his neck, eyes darting anywhere but mine. I don't think this is working anymore. I froze. You're breaking up with me? On my birthday? He exhaled, annoyed. Don't make it sound like that, Lena. You knew we were drifting. I've been thinking— No, I cut in. You've been distant, not drifting. There's a difference, Lena. 5 years, I said quietly. You could have waited one more day. He stepped closer. There's no good time for this conversation. I stared at him, trying to read his face. Is there someone else? His silence told me everything. Who? My voice cracked. Tell me, he hesitated. Then under his breath, Carla. The name hit like a slap. Carla, from your office? The one you said was just a friend? He looked at me for the first time. She understands me. She's been there. While I was cooking, cleaning, covering rent, and doing your damn reports. My voice rose. That kind of being there? Stop shouting. I'm not shouting, I laughed bitterly. You're unbelievable. On my birthday, Ethan. You couldn't wait till tomorrow? He shrugged. Dragging it out would have been worse. So you planned this, I whispered. You planned to dump me tonight, he sighed, glancing at the cake. I didn't plan the date, I just couldn't keep pretending. My throat tightened. Pretending? You know what I mean? No, I said. Explain it to me. Explain how 5 years turn into pretending. Explain how you kiss me good morning, tell me you love me, then sleep with someone else. He ran a hand through his hair. I didn't mean for it to happen. Things with Carla just clicked. Clicked? I repeated. That's what you call betrayal now? Lena, don't make this ugly. I laughed again, the sound hollow. It's already ugly, Ethan. You made sure of that. He took a step back. I think it's best if you move out by the weekend. I blinked. Move out? This apartment is under my name. I'll help you pack if you need. I raised my hand. Don't, just stop. He froze. I felt my voice tremble, but I didn't let it break. You want me gone? Fine. You'll never have to see me again. Lena, I don't want your help. I don't want your pity. I just want you to remember this night. My birthday. The night you traded love for convenience. He looked uncomfortable, maybe even guilty, but I didn't care. I grabbed my coat from the hook and walked toward the door. You're leaving? He asked. I can't breathe here. He followed me a few steps. Don't do this! Don't be dramatic. I turned around. You think I'm being dramatic? You just destroyed 5 years of my life in 5 minutes. It wasn't working, he repeated. It was working fine for you, I said. Until something shinier came along. He didn't reply. The silence stretched, thick and cold. I opened the door. Goodbye, Ethan. Wait, he said, softer this time. You'll understand one day? I already do, I said. You never deserved me. The hallway was quiet when I stepped out. My hands shook as I pressed the elevator button. When the doors closed, I finally let my tears fall. Outside, the night air was sharp and wet. Rain had started to fall, soaking my hair and dress, but I didn't move. Cars passed, lights blurred. Somewhere in the distance, laughter drifted from a bar. My chest ached. I walked until my feet hurt. The cold helped. The pain helped. Everything hurt, but at least it was real. At the corner, I looked back once, half expecting him to come after me. He didn't. The window stayed dark. I whispered to myself, never again. The rain kept falling. I pulled my coat tighter and headed down the street, alone but strangely steady. That night, under the city lights, I made a silent promise. I would never beg anyone to stay again. Not him. Not anyone. Ava, I swear I'm fine, I said, dropping my duffel bag beside her couch. She frowned. You look like you've been hit by a truck, Lena. I've been hit by worse, I muttered. Her apartment was tiny, 1 bedroom, barely a kitchen, but it smelled like vanilla candles and comfort. I sat down, hugging my knees. I'll only stay a few days. I'll find a place soon. You can stay as long as you want, she said. You're my sister, I tried to smile. Your sister who got dumped on her birthday. Her face softened. He's trash. Don't sugarcoat it, I said dryly. Say how you really feel. I mean it. Ethan never deserved you. You practically raised him, I laughed without humor. Raised him? More like financed him. Remember when he quit his job to build something meaningful? Ava nodded. You paid rent that year. 2 years, I corrected. While he found investors. I cooked, cleaned, handled bills. He called it teamwork. And then he rewarded you with betrayal, she said quietly. I stared at the floor. It's my fault. I let him depend on me. I thought love meant sacrifice. Ava sat beside me. Love isn't slavery, I didn't reply. My chest felt tight. He told me to move out by the weekend. Her voice rose. He said that? Yeah, calmly, like I was a tenant whose lease expired. God, Lena. I laughed weakly. I didn't even get to blow out my candles. She took my hand. You can blow them out here. We'll celebrate a new start. I don't want a new start, I said. I want my old life back. Before everything fell apart. You can't fix what was fake, she said. I looked at her, startled. You think it was all fake? Not your love, she said. His. He loved comfort, not you. Her words stung because they sounded true. I remembered Ethan smiling, holding my hand, promising the future. All of it now felt rehearsed. I whispered, he said Carla understands him. Ava scoffed. Sure, maybe she understands how to spend stolen money. I blinked. What do you mean? She hesitated. You always said he used your name for business paperwork. Did you ever check what he did with it? I shook my head. He said it was routine. Her eyebrows furrowed. Lena, that's not routine. That's reckless, I sighed. I don't even care anymore. Yes, you do, she said firmly. You just don't want to admit it yet. I leaned back against the wall. Maybe, or maybe I'm just tired. She passed me a glass of water. Then rest. Tomorrow you'll feel different. Different how? Angrier, stronger. I gave a small smile. That sounds exhausting. You've been exhausted for years, pretending to be okay while carrying him. I looked away. I thought I was helping him succeed. Turns out I was helping him leave. Ava's voice softened. You can be angry, you know. You don't have to be calm all the time. I don't want to give him that power, I said. He doesn't deserve my anger. Then give it to yourself. Be angry for you, I rubbed my eyes. I wish I could unlove him. That'll happen, she said. Love fades when truth stays loud long enough. Her words lingered. The truth was loud tonight. We sat in silence. The city hummed outside, a soft buzz of cars and rain. I could hear the neighbor's TV through the wall. It all felt distant, unreal. Remember when you told me I was too careful? I asked. Yeah, Ava said. You said life needed structure. I smiled faintly. Guess the structure collapsed. She nudged me. Then build a new one. With what? Yourself. You're stronger than you think. I shook my head. You always say that. Because it's true. I stared at my duffel bag, stuffed with everything I owned. I feel like a guest in my own life. Then make it yours again, she said. I laid down on the thin blanket she spread on the floor. This feels pathetic. It feels temporary, she corrected. I stared at the ceiling. He said I was too emotional. Too dependent, Ava laughed. He lived off you and called you dependent? That's rich. Maybe he was right, I said quietly. Maybe I was too much. Too much for the wrong man isn't a flaw, she said. Her confidence made my throat ache. You really believe I'll move on? I know you will, she said. Maybe this is your restart. I turned my face toward her. Restart, I repeated. Sounds like something you say before hitting delete, she smiled. Sometimes delete is exactly what you need. I wanted to argue, but my voice gave out. My eyes burned. I whispered, I hate him, Ava. I know, she said softly. But one day you won't. You'll just outgrow him. I didn't believe her, not yet. But as I lay there on the floor, wrapped in her old blanket, I realized hate was at least better than heartbreak. It meant I still had something left. Fire, maybe. And somewhere inside that fire, I felt the first spark of anger. The office felt colder than usual. Maybe it was me. Maybe it was the way everyone whispered when I walked by. "Hey," Sophie said, sliding into the chair beside my desk. "You didn't sleep again, did you?" "I slept," I lied, eyes fixed on the spreadsheet in front of me. "You look like you fought a ghost." "I did," I muttered. "It just had a human name," Sophie sighed. "Ethan?" I didn't answer. She leaned closer. "You can talk to me, you know." "I'm fine," I said quickly. "I just want to focus on work." She raised an eyebrow. "Lena, focusing on work is your version of denial." "I prefer survival," I said, forcing a small smile. Sophie crossed her arms. "You supported that man for years. You get to be angry." "I'm not angry," I said. "I'm disappointed." "That's worse," she said. "Disappointment means you still cared." I opened my mouth, but my boss's voice interrupted. "Carter, my office." Mr. Reed's tone was clipped as usual. I stood, straightened my blazer, and followed him. His office smelled like coffee and stress. "We need the quarterly numbers updated by tomorrow morning," he said. "I'll handle it," I said. "Good. And Lena," he added, softening a little, "don't push yourself too hard." "I heard about things," I swallowed. "I'm fine, sir." He nodded and went back to his screen. "That's what all my best employees say before crashing." "I won't crash," I said, then slipped out before he could say more. Back at my desk, Sophie waited. "So, work," I said. "As usual," she sighed. "I miss when you used to gossip at lunch." "I miss a lot of things," I said quietly. We worked in silence for a while. The sound of keyboards filled the room. Around noon, Sophie leaned over again. "Hey, random question. Didn't you help Ethan set up his business accounts last year?" I froze. "Yeah, why?" "Because someone mentioned his company in the break room," she said. "Apparently there's talk about missing funds." I blinked. "Missing?" "Yeah, I didn't want to say anything, but..." "You sure you don't want to check your old files? You had admin access once, right?" "I revoked it months ago," I said automatically. "But if he used your credentials, maybe something's still connected." My stomach turned. "He wouldn't..." I stopped mid-sentence. I wasn't sure what Ethan wouldn't do anymore. Sophie lowered her voice. "You said he had you sign some forms." "Routine forms," I said. "At least that's what he told me." "Then check," she said. "Just in case," I hesitated. "That's crossing a line." He crossed a few first. Her words hit hard. After lunch, when most people left the office, I logged into my old work drive. My heart pounded as I typed in my credentials. Sophie hovered beside me. "Anything?" "Still active," I said slowly. He never removed my access. That's weird. I clicked through folders labeled investors, reports, expenses. Everything looked normal, until one document caught my eye. Private transfers, March. I opened it. The numbers blurred for a moment before they made sense. Repeated transfers to an account under Carla Vance. I whispered her name before I realized it. "Carla," Sophie leaned closer. "That's the woman he left you for, right?" "Yes," she exhaled. "Holy hell, Lena. He's been sending her money from the company?" "It looks like it," I said, scrolling down. "And he used my login ID." "Your name's on the file?" "Yes, every transaction." Jesus. I stared at the screen, my pulse hammering in my ears. If this gets flagged, I'm the one they'll question first. Sophie put a hand on my arm. "You need to protect yourself. Download everything. Make copies." I shouldn't even be looking at this. "You're already in it, Lena. Don't let him drag you down too." I clicked download with shaking hands. The files loaded slowly, one by one. Sophie whispered, "He used you. Professionally and personally." "I thought we were partners," I said. "Turns out I was the unpaid accountant." Her jaw tightened. "You should report him." I don't even know where to start. She looked around, then leaned in. "Start by saving proof. Then breathe." The download finished. I copied everything to a flash drive and tucked it into my purse. "Done," I said quietly. Sophie nodded. "Good. Now act normal." "I've been pretending for years," I said. "I'm good at it." "Hey," she said gently. "You don't have to pretend with me." I met her eyes. "I know. But if I stop pretending, I'll fall apart." She squeezed my hand. Then fall apart later. Right now, be smart, I nodded. Smart. We didn't speak again for the rest of the day. I stared at my screen, pretending to work, but all I could see were those numbers, each one a piece of betrayal wearing my name. When I finally got home that night, I threw my bag on the floor and sat down on the edge of my bed. My hands were still trembling. He'd stolen my trust, my money, and now my reputation. I whispered into the dark, "You really made me your scapegoat." Anger bloomed where heartbreak used to live. It was cold, steady, almost calm. If Ethan wanted to play with numbers, I thought, then numbers would be the thing that buried him. I sat at my desk, the glow from my laptop painting the room in pale light. Folders, screenshots, and half-finished notes filled the screen. My phone buzzed. Sophie, again. I let it ring out. She'd asked questions I couldn't answer yet. A text came through. "You disappeared again. Are you okay?" I typed back, "Just tired. Work stuff." Then turned my phone face down. Silence helped me think. I opened another old email from Ethan. His words were smooth, full of trust. "Can you handle this transfer under your login? Investors like continuity." I could hear his voice even now, persuasive and calm. I almost laughed. Continuity. What a joke. My laptop pinged. Another file loaded, one of the older transaction logs. I scrolled slowly, tracing each number. There it was again, Carla's account. Transfers masked as consulting payments. I whispered to myself, "You hid it right in plain sight." The door creaked. Ava peeked in. "You're still up?" "I'm just finishing something." Midnight doesn't look like finishing something. It looks like obsession. "Maybe I need a little obsession," I said. She came closer. "Lena, you're scaring me." "You barely eat. You don't talk. You just sit here like you're planning something." I smiled faintly. "Maybe I am? What kind of plan?" "The quiet kind?" She frowned. "You're not thinking of confronting him, are you?" "Confronting him would be a waste of breath." "I'm done talking. Then what are you doing?" "Cleaning up the mess he left with my name on it." Her expression softened. "You could tell Sophie. She'd help. I can't involve her. The fewer people who know, the safer it is." "Safer for who?" "For everyone," I said. Ava sighed and leaned on the doorframe. "You can't fix what he broke, Lena." I looked at her, calm now. "I'm not fixing it." "I'm exposing it," she didn't reply. After a long pause, she said quietly, "You've changed." I had to. She nodded once and left the room. I turned back to the screen. My folders were organized now. Emails, logs, proof. Each one a nail in his coffin. The necklace he gave me, silver with a tiny heart, sat beside my laptop. I picked it up, turning it between my fingers. My birthday necklace. He'd fastened it around my neck that morning, kissed my shoulder, and said, "You deserve the world." I almost believed him. Now it just felt like a chain. I opened the drawer and placed it inside, closing it gently. "You don't get to shine anymore," I murmured. A notification popped up. Ethan's social media post. I shouldn't have clicked it, but I did. A picture of him and Carla at the beach, sunglasses, drinks, matching smiles. Caption, "Building dreams together." I stared at it until the screen blurred. I could almost hear him saying it, his voice dripping with charm. "You'll see, Lena. One day it'll all pay off." I whispered, "It's paying off, all right." The next day at work, Sophie caught me in the hallway. "You ignored me last night," she said. "I had things to do." "Like what?" "Just sorting through old stuff. Personal or professional?" I hesitated. "Both." She studied me. "You're different lately, colder." "I'm just done pretending everything's fine." "I get that," she said, "but don't do something stupid." I smiled. "I don't do stupid, Sophie. I do quiet." Her eyes narrowed. "That's what worries me." Back at my desk, I plugged in the flash drive. Every piece of evidence I'd found so far was stored there. Emails, fake invoices, screenshots. Each one tied to Ethan. Each one proof he'd used my name to steal. It wasn't revenge. Not exactly. It was balance. By Friday, I had everything organized in a hidden folder. I didn't even feel anger anymore, just a sharp, cold focus. That evening, Ava made dinner. "You'll burn out if you keep this up," she said between bites. I'm fine. You said that last week. I mean it this time. She sighed. You've been watching his page again, haven't you? I didn't answer. You have to stop. I need to know how far his lies go, I said. And what then? You sent him an essay? Tell him you caught him? No, I said. I don't need to tell him anything. He'll find out another way. Her voice softened. You sound so calm about it. I am. That's what scares me most. She reached across the table. Promise me you won't do anything illegal. I'm not the criminal here. Lena? I promise, I said, though my voice barely counted as one. Later that night, I sat by the window with my laptop open. The city glowed below, quiet and restless all at once. I clicked through my folders again, memorizing each file name like a prayer. The necklace drawer caught my eye. For a second, I thought about putting it back on. Then I didn't. That necklace was from the woman I used to be, the one who waited, forgave, believed. She was gone. Now there was only me. The quiet version, the calculating version, and somewhere in the distance, I imagined Ethan laughing, thinking he'd won. I whispered, "Keep laughing while you can." Then I shut the laptop, locked the drawer, and let the silence grow thicker around me. It didn't scare me anymore. It felt like power. The cafe was quiet, filled with the low hum of conversations and clinking cups. I sat near the window, watching the rain smear the glass. When I heard someone say my name, I looked up. Lena Carter? I blinked. Mark? He smiled, that same lopsided grin I remembered from college. Wow, it's really you. Guess it is, I said, standing. We hugged briefly, awkward, polite. He pulled back. You look different. I'll take that as a compliment. It is, he said, sitting across from me. More grounded. Or maybe tired. I laughed softly. Both, he gestured to my cup. Still drink black coffee? Always. Figures. You were the only person I knew who liked it that way. I smiled faintly. You remembered that? Of course. You also hated group projects, loved night walks, and swore you'd never date a guy who used the word synergy. I laughed, surprised. That's oddly specific. I have a good memory, he said, especially for people who mattered. His words caught me off guard. It's been years. 8, he said. But I'd still recognize you anywhere. The warmth in his tone made something in me soften. You always were good at making people feel seen. Guess that's my thing. He paused. So what's new with you? You disappeared after graduation. I stirred my coffee, buying time. Life happened. Good life or bad life? A bit of both, he leaned forward. You sound like someone who's been through a war. Maybe I have, I said quietly. He studied me. Want to talk about it? Not really, I said, then added, but thanks for asking. He nodded. Fair. You never liked pity. Still don't. We sat in silence for a moment, watching the rain outside. The world felt slow again, safe in that tiny pocket of warmth. Mark broke the silence. I started a small tech startup last year. Really? That's great. Yeah, it's chaotic but fun. We're building data tools for finance teams. Could use a mind like yours, I looked up. Mine? He smiled. You majored in analytics, remember? You were the best in our class. I shook my head. That was a long time ago. Talent doesn't expire, he said simply. I'm serious. We need help with financial projections and reporting. You could freelance. Remote flexible hours, I frowned. You don't even know where I am in life right now. I don't have to, he said. I just know who you are. Something in his tone made me look away. You're assuming too much. Maybe, he said. But you look like someone who needs something new to hold on to. I smiled weakly. That obvious? He nodded. You wear sadness like armor. That's poetic, I said, half teasing. It's true, he said softly. You used to light up when you talked about your dreams. Now you're just dimmer. Still burning, though. I didn't know what to say. You make it sound like I'm some tragic movie character. Not tragic. Just healing. The word made my throat tighten. Healing takes time. Then start small, he said. Work with us. It's nothing huge, just a project or two. No pressure, I hesitated. You're serious? Completely. I wouldn't offer if I didn't mean it. I searched his face for a hint of pity, but there wasn't any. Just quiet kindness. I don't know if I'm ready to work again. Then call it a distraction, he said. Sometimes distraction is the first step back to living. I smiled. You sound like a motivational podcast, he laughed. Maybe I missed my calling. I felt the faintest spark of something. Hope, maybe. Send me the details. I'll look, his grin widened. That's all I needed to hear. We talked for another hour, mostly about old times, college nights, failed experiments, professors we couldn't stand. For the first time in months, I laughed without forcing it. When we finally stood to leave, he said, "You know, I'm glad I ran into you." "Me too," I said before I could stop myself. Outside, the rain had stopped. We stood under the cafe awning, both hesitant to end the moment. He handed me his card. "In case you lose my number again." "I never had it to begin with," I said, smiling. "Now you do," he replied. "Don't vanish this time, okay?" "I'll try." He nodded once and walked away, his reflection fading against the wet pavement. I stood there, holding his card like it was something fragile. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel broken, just rebuilding. The world felt lighter, maybe not healed yet, but healing. I stared at the spreadsheet on my laptop, every number glowing like a quiet confession. Proof of theft, betrayal, and stupidity, his and mine. My phone buzzed. Sophie again. I sighed and answered. "Hey, finally. I thought you died or something." "Not dead, just busy." "Busy doing what?" "You've been ghosting everyone for a week." "Sorting things out." "Sorting what?" I hesitated. "Ethan's mess." "Lena, relax," I cut in. "I'm not confronting him. I'm just making sure the truth doesn't drown with me." Her voice softened. "You found something, didn't you?" I didn't answer. "Lena," she pressed, "what did he do?" "What he's always done. Use me." She exhaled loudly. "And you're planning what exactly?" "I'm planning to stop him," I said. Quietly. Quietly sounds dangerous. "Loud didn't work last time," I said. "This time silence will." She paused. "You're scaring me." "You'll feel better when it's over," I said, then hung up before she could ask more. I opened the email draft on my screen, addressed to Detective Harlan. My heart pounded as I typed, "Anonymous tip regarding fraudulent financial activity. Evidence attached." I attached the folders, every email, every transaction, every lie. Then I hovered over send. Ava's voice startled me. "You're up early, or late?" "Hard to tell. Couldn't sleep." She walked over, eyeing the laptop. "That looks serious." "It is. Are you finally turning him in?" I didn't deny it. "Someone has to. You sure this won't backfire?" "He used my credentials. If I don't clear my name, I go down with him." She sat beside me. "You could still talk to him first." I laughed. "Talk to the man who lied to my face on my birthday?" "I think I'm past conversation." She bit her lip. "You've changed, you know." I learned. "Learned what?" "That revenge doesn't need noise. Just proof." She stared at me, uneasy. "You sound cold." Good. Warmth got me burned. The words hung heavy. She reached for my hand. "Promise me you'll be careful." "I'm always careful now." I pressed send. The whoosh of the email felt like an exhale I'd been holding for months. Ava whispered, "So that's it?" "That's it," I said. "Now I wait." 2 days later, my inbox pinged with a short reply. "Thank you for your cooperation. The matter is under review. Detective J. Harlan." I stared at the message, my pulse quickening. It was happening. At work, Sophie cornered me near the coffee machine. "You've been smiling? It's weird. Should I be worried?" "I'm fine," I said. "Fine never means fine. Then I'm better than fine." Her eyes narrowed. "You're hiding something." "Maybe. Lena, I can't tell you," I said gently. "Not yet." "Then tell me this. Did you finally do something about him?" I met her gaze. "I did something right," she blinked. "You scare me when you sound like that. I scare myself a little too," she sighed. "Whatever it is, I hope it brings you peace." "It will," I said. "Eventually." By the end of the week, whispers started spreading through the office. "Did you hear about Miles Tech?" Someone said near the copier. "Yeah, some kind of audit. Fraud or something." I kept typing, pretending not to listen. Sophie shot me a look. "You know about this?" "Just rumors," I said. She didn't believe me. "Your poker face sucks." "Maybe," I said. "But my silence doesn't." She studied me a moment longer, then nodded slowly. Okay, I won't ask. Good, I said quietly. That night, I scrolled through social media. Ethan's posts had stopped. No new pictures of Carla, no smiling updates about building dreams. Just silence. I could almost feel him panicking on the other side of the screen. Phone buzzed again, a text from an unknown number. Do you know anything about what's happening? I stared at it. His number. I deleted it. Then another message followed. Please, Lena, I need to talk to you, I typed back. I have nothing to say. Then deleted that too. Silence was better. Ava came into the room. He's trying to contact you, isn't he? Yeah. You going to answer? No? Why not? Because this time, my silence says more than anything I could ever scream. She sat beside me. You really sent those files? Yes. And if they trace it back to you? I didn't do anything illegal, I said. I just showed the truth. She nodded slowly. You sound powerful. I finally feel that way. A week later, I got another email. Further investigation confirmed. Thank you for your assistance. No names. No details. Just confirmation. I closed the laptop, heart pounding. Ethan's empire was cracking, and I hadn't raised my voice once. Sophie found me in the break room the next morning. He's trending, she whispered. Fraud charges, investor complaints, the whole thing's blowing up. I played dumb. Really? She gawked. You didn't know? I've been busy, I said, sipping my coffee. Wow. Cold. Efficient, I corrected. She smiled faintly. Remind me never to get on your bad side. Then don't lie to me, I said softly. Her eyes widened. You really did something, didn't you? I didn't answer. Fine, she said. I'll stop asking. But whatever it is, you look lighter. I am, I said. For once, I'm not carrying his lies. I walked back to my desk. The city outside looked brighter, sharper, like it was breathing with me. For months, he'd used my name to steal. Now my name was the one that brought him down. I opened my drawer, looked at the empty space where the necklace used to be, and smiled. He once said I'd never survive without him. Funny. I was finally living, and all it took was silence, and a few bank statements that told the truth louder than I ever could. I woke up to Sophie's call before sunrise. Turn on the news, she said, breathless. What? Why? Just do it. I fumbled for the remote, half asleep, and the moment the screen lit up, my heart started racing. Breaking. Miles Tech under federal investigation for financial fraud. There it was, Ethan's face, smug and pale under flashing cameras. Sophie's voice came through the phone again. You knew, didn't you? I stayed quiet. Lena, she pressed. You knew this was coming. I exhaled slowly. Let's just say, I'm not surprised. Oh my God, you really did it, didn't you? I didn't do anything, I said. I just stopped protecting him. She went quiet for a moment. Whatever you did, it worked. It wasn't about revenge, I said softly. It was about balance. Still sounds like revenge to me, she said. But there was admiration in her tone. Maybe, I said, and hung up. By noon, Ethan's downfall was everywhere. Articles, interviews, investors demanding refunds. Carla's name trended beside his. Ava walked into the living room holding her phone. You've seen this, right? I have. He's finished, Lena, completely. I know. You sound calm. I am. You're supposed to celebrate. I don't celebrate trash taking itself out, I said. She gave me a look. You're terrifying when you're this calm. I've had practice. Later that evening, an unknown number called. I ignored it. Then it called again. And again, finally I answered. What? His voice hit me like a ghost I'd already buried. Lena, thank God you picked up, I froze. You shouldn't have called me. I didn't know who else to call, he said quickly. They froze everything. My accounts, my cards, everything. I said nothing. They're saying I stole from investors, he continued. That's insane. You know I didn't— Don't, I interrupted. Don't lie to me. Not again. He fell silent. I have proof, Ethan, I said. I saw everything. The transfers. The fake invoices? You used my credentials, his voice cracked. Lena, I didn't mean for it to go that far. You meant every click, every lie, I said coldly. You built your life on them. I just wanted to make it, he said. I wanted success for both of us. Success? I laughed. You mean theft? You think I wanted this? He shouted. You think I planned for everything to fall apart? You planned to use me, I said. That worked perfectly. Lena, please, he said, his tone shifting from anger to pleading. Help me fix this. You're good with numbers, you can explain. I don't owe you explanations, I said. I'm facing prison. You should have thought about that before you turned my name into a shield for your crimes. Carla's gone, he said suddenly. She left the second things got bad, packed her stuff and disappeared. You were the only one who ever stayed. And I left too, I said. You just didn't notice until it was too late. He went quiet again. I could hear him breathing, uneven, panicked. Lena, he said softly, I loved you. No, I said. You loved control. The line went silent. Then he whispered, I made mistakes. Some mistakes are crimes, I said, and ended the call. 2 days later, a knock rattled the apartment door. Ava peeked through the peephole, her eyes widened. Lena, it's him. I froze. Ethan? She nodded. Do you want me to call someone? No, I said, standing. I'll handle it. She stepped aside reluctantly. I opened the door. He looked nothing like the man I once loved. Unshaven, sleepless, wearing the same suit from the news clip. Lena, he said, voice trembling. Please. I just need to talk. You shouldn't be here. I didn't know where else to go. Try your lawyer, I said. He's outside, he said, motioning behind him. Mr. Graves, he says I need your statement. I don't owe you one. Please, he said. They're blaming everything on me. I just need you to tell them I didn't force you. You didn't have to force me, I said. You manipulated me. Lena, you had me sign things I didn't understand, I said. You used my trust like a pen. He took a shaky step closer. You don't understand what it's like to lose everything. I held his gaze. I lost everything, too. The difference is I rebuilt. He swallowed hard. You're enjoying this, aren't you? No, I said quietly. I'm remembering, he flinched. I'm not the monster you think I am. Then why are you here begging? He looked down. Because you were the only person who ever believed in me. And you ruined that, I said. I thought you'd understand, he whispered. I do, I said. You built your kingdom with lies. I just showed people the receipts. He stared at me, speechless. Behind him, his lawyer, Mr. Graves, cleared his throat. Mr. Miles, we should go. Ethan didn't move. I stepped back, hand on the door. You should listen to him. He looked up, eyes red. Do you hate me? I don't care enough to, I said. He blinked, tears threatening. You used to love me. I used to believe you were real. He took another step, but I stopped him with a look. Don't, I said. This door closes for good. He nodded weakly, then turned to leave. Mr. Graves gave me a polite nod. Good evening, Ms. Carter. I said nothing. When the door clicked shut, Ava exhaled loudly. That was intense. It's over, I said. She looked at me. You sure? Yeah, I said, quieter now. For the first time, I'm sure. I walked to the window. Outside, his car idled under the streetlight for a long moment before pulling away. I didn't cry. I didn't shake. I just stood there steady while the sound of rain started again. Ava came beside me. You okay? I think so, I said. He finally saw who I am without him. She smiled faintly. And who's that? Someone who doesn't need saving. The morning sunlight hit my kitchen window, warm and soft. I poured coffee into my favorite mug, the one that said start again. I'd bought it myself. That felt good. Mark called while I was finishing breakfast. Still surviving Monday? He teased. Barely, I said. I think I'm allergic to alarms now. He laughed. You used to love mornings. I used to love a lot of things, I said. Then life happened. Life's still happening, he said. You just handle it better now. Flattery before 9 a.m.? That's new. I'm growing, he said. Anyway, team meeting later today. You still on the project? Yeah, I said. Deadline's next week. Everything's stable. I like how you sound when you say that, he said. Stable suits you, I smiled. It's overrated, but I'll take it. He hesitated. You doing anything tonight? Probably just dinner, alone. It's my birthday, remember? Wait, you didn't tell me? I'm not big on birthdays anymore. I said lightly. Still, he said, you should celebrate surviving another year. I'll think about it. Promise? I'll try, I said, and hung up. The apartment was small but mine. Plants by the window, soft lights, a stack of unread books I actually planned to read. No shadows of the past here, just me and quiet. Around noon, Ava dropped by with a cake box. You remembered? I said, surprised. Of course I did. Birthdays mean something again, don't they? Maybe, I said, smiling. Just smaller meanings now. She placed the cake on the table. You didn't even decorate. I didn't want to, I said. This year's about breathing, not performing. Sounds very zen. I'm trying, I said. She looked around. Your place feels peaceful. No ghosts. I left them all behind, I said. Even the expensive ones. Good, she said softly. You deserve peace. I met her eyes. For the first time, I actually believe that, she smiled. Mark told me you're doing well at the new job. He exaggerates, I said. But yeah, I'm doing fine. I like the work. The people are kind. And him? She asked, eyebrow raised. I rolled my eyes. He's good, patient, but we're friends. That's enough. You sure? Yes, I'm not ready for anything more. Maybe someday, she said. Maybe, I admitted. But right now I like coming home to quiet, she laughed. You used to hate being alone. I used to fear it, I said. Now I see it as freedom. Ava hugged me before leaving. Happy birthday, big sister. Thanks, I said. For staying. Always. That night the city hummed below my balcony. Soft traffic, faint music from a bar somewhere. I sat with a glass of wine, thinking about everything that had broken and everything that had rebuilt itself afterward. My phone buzzed. Mark again? You really spent your birthday working? He asked. I didn't work. I reflected, I said. He chuckled. Same thing, knowing you. Maybe, but I needed it. He hesitated. I know it's not my place, but I'm proud of you. For what? For surviving what should have destroyed you, he said. For not turning bitter. I was bitter, I said quietly. Just learned to sweeten it with purpose. That's very Lena of you, he said. I smiled. I'll take that as a compliment. It is, he said. Enjoy your night. And if you ever feel like sharing a piece of that cake, nice try, I interrupted. Good night, Mark. Good night, warrior. The nickname made me laugh. After he hung up, I wandered to the mirror across the room. My reflection stared back. Same eyes, same scar near my brow, but everything else looked new. I whispered. I made it. The words felt strange, but real. The pain hadn't vanished, but it no longer lived in my bones. It visited sometimes, like rain, but it didn't flood me anymore. I touched the edge of the mirror, remembering that night I left Ethan's apartment in the rain, my heart broken and my body shaking. I barely recognize that girl now, I whispered to her reflection. You did the right thing. The phone buzzed again, a new message. Ethan Miles. I'm sorry. I stared at it for a long moment, waiting to feel something. Anger, sadness, nostalgia. Nothing came. Just stillness. Ava's words echoed in my head. You'll outgrow him one day. She'd been right. I pressed and held the message, then hit delete. The screen went blank again. Peaceful. I looked back at my reflection. You don't need closure from him, I whispered. You gave it to yourself. Outside, the city lights shimmered on the window, making it look like stars had fallen into my glass. I raised it slightly. To the woman who didn't break. For the first time, the smile that spread across my face didn't hurt, and when I turned off the lights, the silence didn't feel empty anymore. It felt earned. Mark once asked me, do you ever regret not confronting him? I thought about it for a long time before answering. No, some wars don't need witnesses, he smiled softly. You always did fight differently. Fighting doesn't always mean shouting, I said. Sometimes it's silence that cuts deepest, he nodded. And silence was your weapon. My peace, I corrected. Later that night, I sat alone on my balcony, listening to the hum of the city. Ava had texted earlier, proud of you. You did it! I didn't reply right away. I just stared at the skyline and thought about everything I'd lost, and everything I'd found. I remembered the girl I used to be, waiting by the window, hoping love would fix what betrayal had shattered. She thought forgiveness meant weakness, and silence meant defeat. She was wrong. Sometimes silence is the last word, I whispered to myself. The wind carried it away like a promise. Ethan had vanished from the news, from gossip, from my thoughts. His empire collapsed faster than it rose. No statements, no apologies, just emptiness. Maybe that was his karma. Sophie once told me, karma's not about punishment. It's about reflection. She was right. The universe didn't shout. It just rearranged things quietly. Now, when I walk into my own office, when I sign my own checks, when I breathe without fear, I realize what real justice feels like. Steady, silent, and clean. People still ask how I moved on. I tell them I didn't move on. I moved forward. Mark laughed when I said that once. You sound like a quote people will post online. Maybe they should, I said. Because it's true, he grinned. You're finally happy, huh? I'm finally free, I said. That night before bed, I caught my reflection in the mirror. The same eyes, but sharper. The same heart, but stronger. I touched the glass and whispered, "We made it." And I realized the truth wasn't in the shouting or the heartbreak or the tears. It was in the silence, in the proof, in the justice that spoke louder than any scream. I didn't argue. I let the bank statements do the talking.